Hey, if you log in at this later, we're going to wait just a few minutes to see if anyone hops on before I start answering questions. See if I can get this a little bit better. Oh, there we go. I am just going to be answering questions that I'm seeing about Upwork. Hi, if you have a question, make sure you leave it below. I'm going to be talking all about freelancing, working from home, and how to generate a 5-figure income while in your pajamas without selling anything. Let's see. I do see a couple people in here. Make sure you comment. Let me know where you're from. I will say this. I had someone message me and say, that their Upwork account had been frozen and terminated. And it was because they tried to do something shady. They tried to go in and hire themselves for feedback. And of course, Upwork caught it, so they nixed it. So don't be shady with your Upwork profile. Okay, it doesn't work. Don't be shady. Oh, this thing is still crooked. Now, questions, concerns, or things that you want to know about Upwork. That's what I am here to do, to talk about. There we go. All right. Question number uno. How long did it take me to land my first gig? Well, it took me about a month and a half. Now, I landed that gig pretty quickly because I happened to have a niche market with what that customer was looking for. I had previous experience working with motorcycle parts, and that customer was selling motorcycle parts, and they wanted a customer service representative. Now, I only worked for a very short amount of time with them. I have questions coming in. Give me just a moment. Hi guys, if you have questions, make sure you leave them in the live chat. I don't know which side it's on. I'll be happy to answer any that I see. Make sure I have this turned on so all chats come through. And I will address concerns, answer questions, whatever I can do to help you get started on your Upwork journey. Let's see. All right, so don't be shady on Upwork. I got my first contract. I didn't work for him for very long. He was not a great hirer in that he basically, the second day I was there, said, "Here you go," and left the country for several weeks and just wanted me to deal with everything. And I'm willing to do that to a point, but you still have a lot of questions about, where, how things are being run with the company. And it was bad. But he did leave me good feedback, which turned around and let me get the next job that I had, which I worked for over 2 years. It was great. You guys see my custom cup? Tired Mama. Let your faith in God be bigger than your fears. Jesus. And then it says, they whispered to her, "You cannot withstand the storm." She whispered back and said, "I am the storm." I made this. Isn't this cool? It's got glitter. But you guys don't have any questions? Things you're burning to know about Upwork? I've got a few coming in from emails, but that's about it. What was my longest contract is one that I got. I worked with a company out of California. They were a subscription mail order company, and I worked for them doing email consulting for two and a quarter years. That job only ended because I was offered a position in their office. They were bringing everyone to an interior team, and I didn't want to move to California. So the position ended for me, and that's just, the way that job ended. However, everyone was very happy. I do still talk to them occasionally, and they left me great feedback. Great feedback is your purpose of wanting to end the job positively. No one has any questions? I see nothing. Two people watching and no questions. All right. Next question that I got here is, what is your average on Upwork? I don't know. Let me check it. So I'm going to assume by average that they're talking about my stats. If you look at your Upwork profile and you go to find work and down to profile, it'll bring up your job success ranking. Your job success ranking is how many customers were happy with your work over the last, I think it's year, 2 years maybe. Your job success score is very indicative of how good you're doing. It also helps other people know if they're interested in reaching out to you. A lot of times companies will post jobs on Upwork, but they don't post them publicly. They will look through freelancer profiles and request people to apply. This happens a lot with companies that are not looking to expose themselves as using freelancers, so they will turn it around. So they're using freelancers kind of secretively. They don't want to publish their information publicly, which is fine. But a lot of bigger companies find you that way. Mine is 100. I've had 100% happy customers for the last, let's see, 48 out of 50 months. So for the last 48 out of 50 months, I've had happy people, happy customers. And I'm top ranked. Top ranked means that you have all your scores are high. Your customers are happy, you're working well, and no one has had to complain about you. You haven't had to have your profile frozen or anything like that. So that's a very important score. A lot of companies will prefer to work with someone who is top ranked. We are considered, I guess, kind of cream of the crop when it comes to freelancers. I want to talk about Upwork profiles really quick. I'm looking at mine here. Let's talk about availability. Now, it's important that you set your availability to what is truly your current availability. What do I mean? Well, if you're already working so many hours that you only have 2 or 3 hours a day that you're willing to work, you need to list that there. Okay? You need to list there how many, if you're willing to work 40, 50, 60 hours, list it correctly under availability. If you're not available and you're currently full on all your time, you need to put that you're currently not available. When you click the little pencil, it's going to come up. It says I'm currently available or I'm not available. And you have 3 options. It says more than 30 hours a week, less than 30 hours a week, or as needed, open to offers. Now mine is set as needed, open to offers. It always has been. It's not uncommon for me to run 3 or 4 projects at one time. I currently run 3. And then I have one that's occasional. To those that just came in, if you have questions or things you'd like for me to talk about with Upwork, please leave them in the comment section. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about your profile link. Why is that important? Sometimes you can run into people, let's say on LinkedIn, who are interested in hiring a freelancer or hiring you, and you can send them that link. And I stand by that because of the fact that Upwork, how do I say this? All right, so I had a situation where I worked for a company. The company either closed up or just disappeared. All right, they didn't pay the bill for their freelancers, and they turned around and Upwork paid us anyway. That's part of the protection that we get for being a freelancer on Upwork. All right, but being able to bring people in if they want to hire you is a great thing. All right, it does give your location, and then it says if you're in any talent clouds. Talent clouds are large companies who may be posting jobs for different situations. I am in a few talent clouds where I am approached by very large websites to be on panels or to discuss potential positions and what I feel about them and where I see them going. It's a pretty fairly common thing. Excuse me. Work history and feedback. Now, in work history and feedback, it's going to give a very detailed description of what you've been doing. So it lists everything that I'm currently working on. I started one December 2019 to present. I started one October 2017 to present. And then I started one, I have one that's been going since 2016. It says job in progress because I'm still working those contracts. It says how much money I've made, how much money I make an hour, and how many hours I've worked. This is important. This is why I say do not work for pennies. Don't work for less than what you're worth. Because it's going to post on your profile what you're working for other people for. So when you shortchange yourself, you typically shortchange yourself for a longer time. Because people are going to look at your profile and be like, well, you did an email job for them for $8 an hour. Why wouldn't you do it for me? Because I'm worth more. Okay? Truth. So it's super important that you work for what you're worth. Now, once they leave you feedback, which is on a 5-point scale, you can share that like to your LinkedIn page or to your Facebook page. And then you have the ability to put a portfolio. Portfolio is a great way to put different information about what you've been working on. Specifically, if you're in design, graphic design, you can put in there examples of your work. Now, in mine, I have examples of videos that I've done for Upwork. It has a skills section. In skills, you're going to want to list the programs you work with, the applications that you know. Important. Certifications next. Any certifications or classes that you've done should be listed there. Now, you have the position to put your employment history pre-Upwork. You don't necessarily have to update your resume with all of your Upwork contracts. You also need to know that a lot of times the people you are hired by will have you sign a do not disclose. So a lot of times you cannot put that on a resume. All right. Since we don't have a lot of people coming in, I am going to go ahead and sign off. If you have any questions, concerns, or things that you would like for me to address, you would like for me to cover in a video, leave it as a comment. And remember 3 things in life. Number 1, you are worth the time that it takes to change your life. Number 2, your life is worth the effort that it takes. And number 3, you are loved. Until next time, guys.